We were in court. Our hearing was started. It had to do with zoning issue on my farm property. We had an issue with the caretaker's quarters. I was sworn in to testify. Rebecca Schlag, the prosecutor, handed Judge Burt a document. The judge read it, turned to me, and shouted at me, "Mrs. DeFranco, I can throw you in jail." Didn't know what he was talking about. He continued to read, and again shouted at me, "I could throw you in jail." My attorney advised me not to say a word. We took a recess. And when we got back into court, Judge Burt, all smiles, a different person. "Are you ready to testify?" I was in no condition to testify. I didn't know what he had up his sleeve. He had verbally abused me. I didn't testify at my own trial. Something interesting happened a couple of years later. I subscribed to Kern's newspaper. In it, Forrest Burt's wife has something to do with Women's Safe. And there was their picture at a fundraiser. Burt and his family and his wife. When I read that, I thought, here is this man that beat me down in court, verbal abuse, which as far as Women's Safe is concerned is no different than physical abuse. I wrote Burt a letter, sent him a copy of his picture. I said, what you did to me in court was verbal abuse, not much different than physical abuse. You kept me from testifying at my own trial, my own hearing. It was the whole page of an 11-inch document. Never heard a word. I'm sure he read it. I'm sure. Judge Burt claims that he's a supporter of Women's Safe, and yet in court he belittled me, yelled at me, and that, to my estimation, is verbal abuse. So I sent him a letter and made it clear that there's no difference between verbal abuse or physical abuse, and what you did to me in court, Judge, was verbal abuse. You beat me up until I refused to testify at my own hearing. You took my right to a day in court away from me. And now you're all for Women's Safe. To be treated like that in front of this Geauga court, I hope he loses the election. Because if he does it, I doubt very much if he could change his ways. He's just set in them. It was all a mistake. But Judge Burt, before he shouts at somebody, he should make sure that what he's about to do has merit. He shouldn't be jumping immediately and threatening. But that died too. I had Cleveland attorneys I was negotiating with to take my case in Geauga, and a couple of the attorneys said, we know what's going on in Geauga, but we have to practice there. One attorney told me he already has a case there. He couldn't take my case against the judge. He was going in front of this judge. And that's the way it is. Cleveland attorneys don't want to come here. Geauga attorneys protect Judge Burt. They too have to practice here. This isn't our justice system. This has to change. And I don't know if we'll be able to change Judge Burt. We might need a new judge in these courts. I hope not to be associated with these courts again. I've had my fill all these years without the use, 100% use of my property. It's been very stressful for my family and me.